But what if I told you that this simple outline is not modern at all? What if I told you it was a high-stakes, secret password used by a persecuted minority at a time when revealing your faith could get you killed? What if, for over 1,500 years, this symbol was almost completely forgotten? And what if its modern revival has less to do with ancient faith and more to do with the American counterculture of the 1960s? Today, we are going fishing for the truth. This is the incredible forgotten story of the Ichthys, the tale of how a life or death secret sign was lost to history, rediscovered, and reborn as a battle flag in the American culture wars. To understand the fish, we have to erase the image of the bumper sticker from our minds and travel back to the 1st and 2nd centuries of the Roman Empire. Life for the earliest Christians was precarious. They were a strange and misunderstood new sect. Their refusal to worship the Roman emperor as a god was seen as treasonous. Their secret meetings and their talk of eating the body and drinking the blood of their savior led to wild, slanderous rumors of cannibalism. They were a convenient scapegoat, and persecution was a constant, looming threat. In this climate of fear, openly identifying yourself as a Christian was a dangerous, often fatal, act. The symbol we associate with Christianity today, the cross, was completely out of the question. For them, the cross was not a symbol of hope. It was a grotesque instrument of state torture, a symbol of shame and agonizing death, like a modern electric chair. So, the early church needed something else. They needed a way to recognize each other in a hostile world. They needed a secret sign, and they found the perfect one in the simple, everyday image of a fish. The fish symbol was a work of genius for 3 reasons. First, it was common. Fish were a staple food, a common sight in the markets and on the dinner tables of the Mediterranean world. Drawing a fish was an innocuous, unremarkable act. A Roman soldier walking by wouldn't think twice. Second, the fish held a rich symbolic meaning within the faith itself. Jesus had told his disciples, who were fishermen, that he would make them fishers of men. The miracle of the loaves and the fishes was a cornerstone story. But the third reason is the most brilliant of all, the real secret behind the symbol. The Greek word for fish is ichthys. For the early Christians, this wasn't just a word. It was a secret acronym. Each letter in the word ichthys was the first letter of a powerful, coded declaration of faith. It stood for, "The voice you selected does not support this language. Please click the upper right corner to switch to another voice." This was their secret password. The early Christian writer Tertullian described how 2 strangers could meet, and one could casually draw a single arc in the dust with their foot. If the other person was also a believer, they would complete the fish by drawing the second arc, forming the symbol. In that silent, fleeting moment, they confirmed their shared identity and knew they were in safe company. This was not a casual statement of belief. In an age of persecution, completing this symbol was an act of profound trust, a life or death gamble. It was a sign that held the weight of a secret community, huddled together against a hostile world. So if this symbol was so important, what happened to it? Why did it vanish for over a millennium and a half? The answer is simple. It became a victim of its own success. When the Roman Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity in the 4th century, the religion went from being a persecuted minority to being the favored faith of the empire. The persecutions ended. Suddenly, there was no need for a secret symbol anymore. It was safe and even advantageous to be a Christian. At the same time, the cross, which had once been a symbol of shame, underwent a radical transformation. Constantine had used a Christian symbol to win a battle, and the cross was rebranded as a sign of triumph, of victory, of divine power. The instrument of death became the emblem of an empire. And so, the fish slowly swam out of view. As the cross rose in prominence, the ichthys faded. It wasn't banned or suppressed. It just became obsolete, a clever tool whose purpose had expired. For the next 1,500 years, the fish symbol was little more than a historical curiosity, a footnote in theological textbooks, a relic known only to scholars and archaeologists. Fast forward to California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. America is in the midst of a cultural revolution. It's the age of the counterculture, of rebellion against the establishment. And out of this ferment comes a surprising religious revival, the Jesus movement. Thousands of young people, the Jesus freaks, were embracing a form of Christianity that was passionate, personal, and deeply skeptical of the stuffy, traditional churches of their parents' generation. They were looking for a way to express their faith that felt authentic, ancient, and countercultural. And in their search, they rediscovered the ichthys. It was the perfect symbol for the moment. It was simple, artistic, and it was ancient. It connected them to the real early church before all the institutions and the hierarchy they rejected. Using the fish was a way to say, my faith is not the same as the establishment. I follow the simple, radical Jesus of the early church. The symbol began to spread through the movement, appearing on posters, newsletters, and handmade jewelry. And then it found its perfect modern home, the car bumper. The rise of the bumper sticker in the 1970s as a medium for personal and political expression provided the ideal vehicle for the fish. It was a quiet, unassuming way to take a stand, to identify yourself to a wider community. The secret sign of a persecuted minority was reborn as the public logo of a modern spiritual revival. For a while, the fish was a mostly positive, unifying symbol. But as the Jesus movement faded and the religious right rose to political prominence in the 1980s and 90s, the symbol's meaning began to shift once again. The fish on the back of a car became less of a simple declaration of personal faith and more of a public marker of a specific cultural and political tribe. It became associated with conservative, evangelical Christianity. It was seen by many as a symbol not just of what you believed, but of who you voted for. It had entered the culture wars. And every action in a culture war has an equal and opposite reaction. In response, a new symbol emerged from the secular and scientific communities, the Darwin fish. It was a brilliant piece of satirical jujitsu. It took the Christian symbol and cheekily added little feet, turning it into a representation of the theory of evolution, often with the word Darwin inside. It was a clever, witty retort, a way of saying, so, the journey of the Jesus fish is a truly remarkable one. It was born as a secret, a life or death password in an age of persecution. It was forgotten for 1,500 years when it was no longer needed. It was revived by a countercultural religious movement looking for authenticity. And finally, it was transformed into a battle flag in the ongoing cultural wars of modern America. Its story is a powerful illustration of how the meaning of a symbol is never static. It is constantly being redefined by the hopes, the fears, and the conflicts of the people who use it. So, here's the final question for you. When you see that fish symbol on a car today, what does it mean to you? Has its modern use as a culture war symbol completely erased its ancient meaning of hope and solidarity? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.